All right, geometry 4-2, translations. We did start translations in 2-4. We're continuing them. This time we're going to talk about, well, what if my starter triangle translate, but it's a different triangle, all right? Because this is not D prime, E prime, F prime. So it is a slightly different triangle that it maps onto. Okay, and we know DEF maps onto this one because DEF comes first. Okay, always look at the placement in the description. And we're going to decide if it actually does translate or not, and we're going to explain why. All right, so when we have similar shapes, the first point in my first shape corresponds with first point in my second shape. Second point corresponds with the second point, and third point corresponds with the third point. All right, so their placement is important, and they correspond with each other. So we are going to see where each point is located, the coordinates of the points, and we're going to see if they translate the exact same for each of the points. All right, so D transferred onto L, E at 5 originally, transferred onto M, that is at 1, 3. F, all right, transfers to 1 onto N, and N's location is 1, -1. All right, so we have our coordinates of our points. Now let's see if we can find what rule we followed, because if we can find the rule we followed, if we followed a rule, then it is a translation. All right, so let's see. How do we get from 3 to -1? Well, we subtracted 4, okay. And how do we get from 2 to 0? We subtracted 2. Now let's see if the same rule works for these other 2 points. So let's see. To get from 4 to 1, we subtract 4. To 5 to 1, we subtract 4. And from 5 to 3, we subtract 2. Okay, so that one works. So far, so good. Good. And let's see, to get from 5 to 1, we subtract 4, and get from 1 to -1, we subtract. Hey, all right. They all translate at the same rate. They all follow the same rule. All right, and we described our translation here. So it was x minus 4 and y minus 2. All right. Now our next one says describe whether QRS translates onto UVW, and visually we can see they aren't even the same shape. So we're definitely going to say no, but here's the thing, it says if not, explain why. All right, so we have to have some sort of mathematical explanation. All right, so let's see. Well, we know they go in order, so Q is at -3, 3. It's supposed to translate to U, 5, -3. All right, and because visually we know this is not going to work, so let's see what rule we followed for this one. This was x, plus 8, and y, minus 6. All right, so let's see if we can disprove it with the next one, R. 0, 5. If it was perfect, it would perfectly translate to V. All right. And let's see what rule this follows. X minus 2, Y minus 7. Not the same rule. This is not the same movement. This is not a translation. Okay, not a translation. All right. So translation, not a translation. Follows a rule all the way. Doesn't follow the rule all the way. All right, let's check out a picture. All right, we got a picture. And your picture doesn't go very well. All right, but it's, yeah, there's a whole grid there, I promise. Okay, so it says Travis is on a scavenger hunt at the lake. He needs to swim to the nearest buoy, pick up a card, then swim until he reaches a fisherman who will give him the next clue in exchange for a card. Here's what it wants us to do. It wants us to describe the translation from the buoy to the fisherman's boat. Use coordinates. All right, so the buoy, well, that's at 3-2. Okay. And it wants the boat. So from the buoy to the boat, well, the boat's at 8-1. All right, let's check out our move. Well, X, well, from, oh, don't need a comma. From 3 to 8, well, that's X plus 5. And Y, that's Y minus 1. Alright, so we described our translation using coordinates. Okay. So make sure you show your work. Anything you do in a drop-down box, make sure you have written on paper so you can get credit. Good luck.